In this technical analysis of the stock market video, I'm calling it, okay, let's talk, because that's really the message that came out of the White House on Thursday when the stock market exploded to the upside. It was up almost 400 points. And basically the message was, yeah, China and us, we've decided to talk again, and we're going to have some people come to get together by the end of the month, and we're going to talk. It was like, okay, anything else? No, we're just going to talk. So we'll see what happens. At least they're talking. The trade war's still on. No major change in any of that. And we're going to take a look at China again. We're going to see just how bad the Shanghai Composite's getting hit later on in the video. So let's start off here taking a look at the Dow. The other thing that helped the Dow on Thursday, let me get rid of the crosshairs for a minute. Walmart was up 9.3% because they had great earnings, and their online sales were like up, spectacular, and everybody was getting really, really excited, and the stock was up 9.3%. Cisco had decent earnings the night before. It was up 3%. And Cat and Boeing were the two other big performers in here, but I think they were kind of trade talk related type of plays that happened on Thursday. So I'm still looking at this as if we got a fourth flat, Elliott wave flat picture that occurred in here, and that we're in a fifth wave up, and still looking for this, WXY, very complex corrective activity to complete itself, and for this market to then turn down. I think we're getting very, very close. When we look at the hourly charts, the type of action that happened on Friday, actually this is 65-minute charts because that divides the day perfectly. And you could see, I think we're very close. We may have a little bit more to push to the upside, but we're very, very close in here for a 5-wave sequence up. Strong move. But we still have not even taken out the February high, and where we closed on Friday is still about 1,000 Dow points below the high in January. So the one thing that I keep, when you look at a chart, when you see a lot of overlapping waves, almost always, that is an indication that you're in some kind of corrective activity when you have a lot of overlapping waves. All right, so let's take a look at the Nasdaq Composite. What did it do this week? So I've got this marked as the high on July 25th in here. 5 waves up in a nice impulsive move to complete the fifth intermediate of the fifth primary wave up in the Nasdaq. Now, it keeps coming down, hitting the trend line between minor wave 2 and May 4. This is the second time it's pulled back down to it this week. And this week is, let me restate that. This week is the second time after this time right here. This is the second time it's pulled down to it. Seems to be holding so far. We'll see whether it does or not. This is the real test in whether this high holds. If this high doesn't hold, then I can't really mark this as 5 complete waves with any kind of confidence. This could be some kind of funky corrective move that's still bigger than wave 4, but I doubt it, okay? If this high is taken out, then I've got to move to a stronger bull scenario, which says, we're still trucking upwards, that we're in a third minute wave in here higher. Okay, but the third wave needs to keep demonstrating itself and demonstrating the strength. Remember, third waves are typically the strongest waves in an Elliott wave 5-wave sequence. You have 3 motive waves, 1, 3, and 5. The third wave is typically the strongest. Well, it needs to show that right now, and so that's why this is kind of the uncle point right up here at the high on the Nasdaq. And, so what's happening with the Nasdaq? Let's take a look at the ETFs first, ETF picture. This is what I go over every week with my insider members, and we talk about where the ETFs are and what's happened for the week. You can see when you look at the dashboard, I've got 15 different sectors in here, and the strongest for the week was consumer staples, okay? And the weakest for the week was energy. That's no surprise given what's going on with energy. I talked about XLE and oil 2 weeks ago. Go back and take a look at that video. I talked about the weakness and how I felt like it was getting ready to break down, and they had a pretty strong week to the downside this week. The other one that came into second place was semiconductors, and we're going to take a look at that. You know, the leaders for the year, consumer discretionary and technology, starting to weaken a little bit. If you look at what happened, the SPY this week, the S&P 500, up 0.67%. Well, look at technology. It was up not even half of what the strength of what the SPY did, not even a third really. And then when you look at the consumer discretionary, it was down this week. So all of a sudden, we're getting a little bit of cracks in the armor here, and it's going to be interesting to see if these could still hold. These have been like the leaders for the entire year. And of course, the big weakness one is home builders for the year. So we're going to take a look at XLK and SMH here just as soon as I'm done looking at this. Here's the weakness in the Nasdaq. The Dow was the strongest of all of the index ETFs in the United States. Emerging markets, look at this picture. The only one that was positive was Russia, and a little bit of a bounce in here. The weakest one is FXI, and we're going to take a look at that. Now, that's kind of that China play, but it's not a pure play. It's not a pure mainland China play, and I'll talk about that in a minute. It's tied more into Hong Kong and the Hang Seng, but Brazil is the worst performer of the year. Commodities have been weak. All of them were down. This gold, silver, oil. Don't have ETFs on copper. Used to. They changed something out. I need to look to see if there is another one out there. Currencies didn't move a whole lot. Actually, the Chinese yuan was the strongest. The dollar's pulling back maybe a little bit. All of a sudden, the euro's then starting to strengthen, and the yen was strong. This was up a little bit, but is actually it and the dollar are the two that are positive for the year at this point. All right, let's dive in and take a look at XLK and see what is going on. Look how the picture with XLK is very much like the Nasdaq. The picture I just showed you with the Nasdaq is almost identical in here. And that's really not surprising because of the fact that the Nasdaq is very heavy with technology stocks. So the picture is very much the same, watching to see, is this trend line going to hold or is this going to start to break down? And then the other one I wanted to take a look at is semiconductors related to this. Let me go ahead and pull this in here. Semiconductors, I want to go ahead and look at just the moving averages, trend lines. You can see where this has really started to break this last week. This is the major thing I was looking at. Wednesday, it broke down through this trend line, which is a trend line from the April low in here. And coming down, I think the next test, probably Monday, Tuesday, if it continues to sell off. And there's a lot of weakness in semis this week. NVIDIA, AMAT, Micron Technology, the list just goes on and on and on. They're all weakening significantly. This is going to be the next test around 101, I believe it is, 100.95, something like that. If that doesn't hold, I think this is going to come all the way down here for sure into the 94 to 95.5 range. This is going to be the next support area for SMH. So that's the picture there on SMH. Let's take a look at FXI. Okay, so here's the China. I don't like looking at the daily because there's a lot of gappiness in it. Let me open it up and let's pop over to the weekly chart. And I do want to look at this. This is a little cleaner, okay? So this is the picture. You can see that FXI is broken down out of this 2-year trend, uptrend that it's had. It did this in June, okay, the week of June 17th. It broke this support level in here. It then came back up and retested that support level. That became resistance. And then came down, and this got supported around 40 this last week. Look how the bulls came in. This is a weekly chart, a weekly bar. So see how the bulls came in the second half of the week and came up on the close? So now the real test is going to be, does 40 hold on FXI? All right, and the last thing I want to take a look at is the Shanghai Composite. Look at this chart. This is a weekly chart. It was down 126.3 for the week. It closed literally just 3 points off its low for the week. This is the lowest close on the Shanghai Composite since the week ending November 21st, 2014. Let me see if I can zoom back out of this a little bit. There we go. You know, I really am not seeing, where do you see support coming in on this? I don't see any support until we get down here, quite a ways down in the, where are we? It's around 24.42, something like that. It's probably another 10% down on the Shanghai Composite would be my first guess, first estimate as to where this is going to come in. All right, that's the picture for this week. So here's where we're at. Here's where we're testing. We'll see if it's going to hold and bounce, take out this high, or are we going to break down? All right, that's it for this week. If you felt like the video was helpful, hit the like button. And if you're not a subscriber, hit the subscriber button to the YouTube channel. If you could think of one person who would benefit from this video, share the video with them. And if you'd like to get more education, insight, and trade ideas, become an insider member. Go ahead and check out at joehenches.net. Just click on my little face there on the screen and it'll take you right over there. Everyone have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to you on the next video.